see Leonato's orchard. Enter Benedict.
God, good Benedict. Sorry, I'm wiping my eyes so I can read.
Wiping your eyes.
See.
I hope you can find your eyes.
Sorry, so I can read, okay. Boy.
Signor?
In my chamber window lies a book. Bring it to me hither in the orchard.
I am here already, sir.
I know that, boy, but I would have the heads and hear again. I do much wonder that man, seeing how much another man is a fool when he dedicates his behaviors to love, will, after he have laughed at such shallow follies in others, become the argument of his own scorn by falling in love. And such a man is Claudio. I have known when there is no music with him but the drum and the fife. And now he'd rather hear the tabor and the pipe. I have known when he would have walked 10 miles afoot to see a good armor. And now he will lie 10 nights awake carving the fashion of a new doublet. He was wont to speak plain and to the purpose, like an honest man and like a soldier. And now he has turned to orthography. His words are a very fantastical banquet. Just so many strange dishes. May I be converted to see these with these eyes? I cannot tell. I think not. I think not be sworn, but love may transform me into an oyster. But I'll take my oath on it, and still, he hath made an oyster of me. He hath never made me such a fool. One woman is fair, yet I am well. Another is wise, yet I am well. Another virtuous, yet I am well. But till all graces be one woman, in one woman shall not come in my grace. Rich she will be, and that's a certain, wise or I'll none. Virtuous, or I'll never cheapen her. Fair, or I'll never look on her. Mild, or come not near me. Noble, nor I fear not an angel. Of good discourse, an excellent musician. And her hair shall be what color it please God. The prince and the monsieur love. I will hide me in the harbor.
Come, shall we hear this music? Yea, my good lord, how still the evening is hushed on purpose to grace harmony.
See you where this Benedict hath hid himself?
Oh, very well, my lord. The music ended. We'll fit the kid fox with a pennyworth.
Come, Balthazar, we'll hear that song again.
Oh, good my lord, tax not so bad a voice to slander music any more than once.
It is the witness still of excellency to put a strange face on his own perfection. I pray thee sing, and let me woo no more.
Well, because you talk of wooing, I will sing, since many a wooer doth commence his suit to her he thinks not worthy. Yet he woos, yet will he swear he loves.
Nay, pray thee, come. If thou wilt no longer argument, do it in notes.
Note this before my notes. There's not a note of mine that's worth the noting.
Why, there's a very crotchet that he speaks. Notes, forsooth, and nothing.
Now, divine heir, now is it so ravished? Is not strange that ships' guts would hail souls out of men's bodies? Well, a horn for my money when all's done.
Oh, you've gone Irish on me there. Okay. I'm supposed to sing this?
Yes.
Like a rap?
Your choice.
Oh my God.
1 minute, too.
I'll rap it. Hip hop. Sigh no more, lady, sigh no more. Men want the fingers ever. 1 foot in sea and 1 on shore, to one thing constant never. Then sigh not so, but let them go and be you, black and bonny, converting all your sounds of woe into hey, nonny, nonny. Sing no more these, sing no more of dumps so dull and heavy. The fraud of man was ever so since summer first was leafy. Then sigh not so and see.
Bravo, bravo. By my troth, a good song.
And an ill singer, my lord.
Aha, no. Faith, thou singest well enough for a shift. Go back
And he
to
had
sleep.
been a dog that should have been howled thus. They would have hanged him, and I pray God his bad voice would bode no mischief. I had as lief I'd heard the night raven, come what plague could have come after it.
Yes, Mary, dost thou hear, Balthazar? I prithee, get us some excellent music, for tomorrow night we will have it at the Lady Hero's chamber window.
The best I can, my lord.
So do, and farewell. Come hither, Leonato. What is it that you told me of today, that your niece Beatrice was in love with Signor Benedict?
Oh, aye, stalk on, the foul sits. I did never think that lady would have loved any man.
Nor neither I neither, but most wonderful that she should so dote on Signor Benedict, whom she hath, and all outward behaviours seemed ever to abhor.
Is it possible? Is the wind in that corner?
Now, my troth, my lord, I cannot tell what to think of it, but that she loves him with an enraged affection. It is past the infinite of thought.
And maybe she doth but counterfeit.
Faith, like enough.
Oh God, counterfeit! There was never counterfeit of passion come so near the life of passion as she discovers it.
Why, what effects of passion shows she?
Bait the hook well, this fish will bite.
What effects, my lord? She will sit you. You heard my daughter tell you how.
She did indeed.
How, I pray you? You amaze me. I would have thought her spirit had some invincible against all assaults of affection.
I would have sworn it had, my lord, especially against Benedict.
I should have thought this a gull, but that the white-bearded fellow speaks it. Never he cannot sure hide himself in such reverence.
He obtained the infection, hold it up.
Hath he made her affection known to Benedict?
No, and swears she never will. That's her torment.
'Tis true indeed, so your daughter says. Shall I, says she, that I have so oft encountered him with scorn, write to him that I love him?
This says she now, when she is beginning to write to him, for she'll be up 20 times a night, and there will sit in her schmock till she have writ a sheet of paper. My daughter tells us all.
Now you talk of a sheet of paper. I remember a pretty jest your daughter told us of.
Oh, when she had writ it and was reading it over, she found Benedict and Beatrice between the sheet.
That.
Oh, she tore the letter into 1,000 halfpence, railed at herself that she should not be so immodest to write to one that she knew would flout her. I measure him, says she, by my own spirit, for I should flout him if he writ to me. Yea, though I loved him, I should.
Then down on her knees she falls, weeps, sobs, beats her heart, tears her hair, prays, curses. Oh, sweet Benedict, God give me patience.
She doth indeed, my daughter says so, and the ecstasy hath so much o'erborne her that my daughter is somewhat afeard she will do a desperate outrage to herself. It is very true.
It were good that Benedict knew of it in some other, if she would not discover it.
To what end? He would but make sport of it and torment the poor lady worse.
Oh, and he should, if it were an alms to hang him. She's an excellent sweet lady, and out of all suspicion, she is virtuous.
And she is exceeding wise.
In everything but in loving Benedict.
Oh, my lord, wisdom and blood combating in so tender a body, we have 10 proofs to 1 that blood hath the victory. I am sorry for her, as I have just cause, being her uncle and her guardian.
I would she had bestowed this dotage on me. I would have daft at all other respects, and made her half myself. I pray you, tell Benedict of it, and hear what I will say.
Were it good, think you?
Hero thinks surely she will die. For she says she will die, if he love her not. And she will die if she make her love known, and she will die if he woo her, rather than she will bate one breath of her accustomed crossness.
Ah, she doth well, and if she had made tenor of her love, 'tis very possible he'll scorn it. For the man, as you know all, hath a contemptible spirit.
He is a very proper man.
Ah, he hath indeed a good outward happiness.
Before God and in my mind, very wise.
He hath indeed shown some sparks that are like wit.
And I take him to be valiant.
Ah, as Hector, I assure you. And in the managing of quarrels, you may say he is wise, for either he avoids them with great discretion or undertakes them with the most Christian-like fear.
If he do fear God, must necessarily keep peace. If he break the peace, he ought to enter into a quarrel with fear and trembling.
And so will he do, for the man doth fear God, and howsoever it seems not in him, by some large jest he will make. Well, I am sorry for your niece. Shall we go seek Benedict and tell him of her love?
Never tell him, my lord. Let her wear it out with good counsel.
Nay, that's impossible. She may wear her heart out first.
Well, we will hear further of it by your daughter, and let it cool the while. I love Benedict well, but I could not wish he would modestly examine himself to see how much he is unworthy so good a lady.
My lord, will you walk? Dinner is ready.
If he do not dote on her upon this, I will never trust my expectations.
And let there be the same net spread for her, and that must your daughter and her gentlewomen carry. The sport will be when they hold an opinion of another's dotage, and so shall, and no such matter, that the scene that I would see, which would be merely a dumb show. Let us send her to call on him to dinner.
This can be no trick. The conference was sadly born. They have the truth of this from Hero. They seem to pity the lady. It seems her affections have their full bent. Love me? Why, it must be requited. I hear how I am censured. They say I will bear myself proudly if I perceive the love come from her. They say, too, that she will rather die than give any sign of affection. I did never think to marry. I must not seem proud. Happy are they that hear their destructions and can put them to mending. They say the lady is fair. 'Tis the truth. I can hear them witnesses and virtuous. 'Tis so. I cannot reprove it. And wise. But for loving me, by my troth, it is no addition to her wit, nor to any great argument of her folly, for I will be horribly in love with her. I may chance to have some odd quirks and remnants of wit broken on me because I have railed so long against marriage. But doth not the appetite alter? A man loves his meat for in his youth, but he cannot endure his age. Shall quips and sentences and these paper bullets of the brain awe a man from the career of his humor? No! The world must be peopled. When I say I would die a bachelor, I did not think I would live until I were married. Here comes Beatrice. Oh, by this day, she's a fair lady. I do spy some marks of love in her.
Against my will, I am sent to bid you to come and to dinner.
Oh, fair Beatrice, I thank you for your pains.
Took no more pains for those of thanks than you take pains to thank me. If it had been painful, I would not have come.
Would you take pleasure then in the message?
Yeah, just so much as you may take upon a knife's point and choke a doll withal. You have no stomach, signor. Fare you well.
Ah! Against my will. I am sent to bid you and come in to dinner. There's a double meaning in that. I took no more pains for those that took pains to thank me. Well, that's as much to say, any pains that I take for you is as easy as thanks. If I do not take pity of her, I am a villain. If I do not love her, I am someone else. I will go get her picture.
Let's take a break, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll
Time.
Okay, Sandy, time for a break.
Pretty quick.
no 6 o'clock and 6:22 now. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this afternoon.
Same
Now
stuff, so.
come over here.
Oh, yeah, model. Where is the?
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this afternoon. Camera right here.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this afternoon.
Gotta go for it.
Da-da-da.
Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween.
All right.
For sure. Rip open, show some abs,
I was showing her.
and
I
sing.
was showing
I'm
my
gonna ask
other
you
shirt.
if you could read.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this afternoon. So this scene is that he did all year long.
What?
Terrence Knapp. He would pick a play.
Ursula is
This
the
one?
naughty girl.
He'd pick a
Okay.
play and then he'd just
Okay, what part did you memorize?
well the whole scene.
You
because we
know
all
the
treat it.
girl
Okay, well,
best.
you're on.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this afternoon. Go ahead and announce the scene.
I'll do Ursula.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
See the
We're now beginning
picture
Act 3,
Inside, open up your book.
Scene 1.
Open up your book.
Ahem.
Yeah,
Open up
it's
your book.
open. It's open. Oh, that's not the book, though. That's
This is the DVD. Guide.
camera. There. Okay, now I understand.
Actors your places, actors your places.
So look at the camera now, not at the screen. Got it. Okay.
I want to look at the person that I'm
Brilliant!
speaking to.
Take 3.
Oh, go ahead. Take 4 with that one.
You need a clapboard.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, this afternoon.
Yeah.
Act 3, Scene 1, Leonato's garden. Enter hero Margaret and Ursula.
Good Margaret, run thee to the parlor. There thou shalt find my cousin Beatrice, proposing with the prince and Claudio. Whisper her ear and tell her, I and Ursula walk in the orchard, and our whole discourse is all of her. Say that thou overheardst us, and bid her steal into the pleached bower where honeysuckles ripened by the sun forbid the sun to enter, like favorites made proud by princess, that advance their pride. Against that power that bred it, there will she hide, to listen our purpose. This is my office. Bear thee well in it, and leave us alone.
I'll make her come, I warrant you presently.
Now Ursula, when Beatrice Doth come. As we do trace this alley up and down, our talk must only be of Benedick. And when I do name him, let it be thy part to praise him more than ever man did merit. My talk to thee must be how Benedick is sick in love with Beatrice. Of this matter is little Cupid's crafty arrow made, that only wounds by hearsay. Now begin, for look where Beatrice like a lapwing runs close by the ground to hear our conference.
The pleasantest angling is to see the fish caught with their golden oars over the silver stream, and greedily devour the treacherous bait. So angle we for Beatrice, who even now is couched in the woodbine coverture. Fear you not my part of the dialogue.
Then we go near her, that her ear lose nothing of the false sweet bait that we lay for it. No, truly, Ursula, she is too disdainful. I know her spirits are as coy and wild as haggards of the rock.
But are you sure that Benedick loves Beatrice so entirely?
So says the prince and my new betrothed husband.
And did they bid you tell her of it, madam?
They did entreat me to acquaint her of it, but I persuaded them if they love Benedick to wish him wrestle with affection and never to let Beatrice know of it.
Why did you so? Doth not the gentleman deserve as full as fortunate a bed as ever Beatrice shall couch upon?
O God of love, I know he doth deserve as much as may be yielded to a man, but nature never framed a woman's heart of prouder stuff than that of Beatrice. Disdain and scorn ride in her eyes, misprizing what they look on, and her wit values itself so highly that to her all matter else seems weak. She cannot love, nor take no shape nor project of affection. She is so self-endeared.
Sure, I think so, and therefore certainly it were not good she knew his love, lest she will make sport at it.
Why, you speak truth. I never yet saw a man, how wise, how noble, how young, how rarely featured, but she would spell him backward if fair-faced. She would swear the gentleman should be her sister. If black, why nature drawing of an antique made a foul blot. If tall, a lance ill-headed. If low, an agate very vilely cut. If speaking, why a vein blown with all winds. If silent, why a block moved with none. So turns she every man the wrong side out, and never gives to truth and virtue that which simpleness and merit purchaseth.
Sure, such carping is not commendable.
No, not to be so odd and so from all fashions as Beatrice is, cannot be commendable. But who dare tell her so? I should speak, she would mock me into air. Oh, she would laugh me out of myself, press me to death with wit. Therefore, let Benedick like covered fire consume away in sighs, waste inwardly. It were a better death than die with mocks, which is as bad as die with tickling.
Yet tell her of it. Hear what she will say.
No, rather I will go to Benedick and counsel him to fight against his passion. And truly I'll devise some honest slanders to stain my cousin with. One doth not know how much an ill word may poison liking.
Oh, do not do your cousin such a wrong. She cannot be so much without true judgment, having so swift and excellent a wit, as she is prized to have, as to refuse so rare a gentleman as Signor Benedick.
He is the only man in Italy, always excepted my dear Claudio.
I pray you be not angry with me, madam. Sorry. Speaking my fancy, Signor Benedick, for shape, forbearing, argument, and valor, goes foremost in report throughout Italy.
Indeed, he hath an excellent good name.
His excellence did earn it ere he had it. When are you married, madam?
Why, every day, tomorrow. Come, go in. I'll show them some attires, and thou have thy counsel, which is the best to furnish me tomorrow.
She is limed, I warrant you. We have caught her, madam.
If it prove so, then loving goes by haps. Some Cupid kills with arrows, some with traps.
Fire is in mine ears. Can this be true? Stand I condemned for pride and scorn so much? Contempt, farewell, and maiden pride, adieu. No glory lives behind the back of such. And Benedict, love on. Oh, I will requite thee, taming my wild heart to thy loving hand. Oh, if thou dost love, my kindness shall incite thee to bind our loves up in a holy band. Oh, for others say thou dost deserve, and I believe it better than reportedly.
Scene 2, a room in Leonato's house. Enter Don Pedro, Claudio, Benedict, and Leonato.
I do but stay till your marriage be consummate, and then I go to Ward Aragon.
I'll bring you thither, my lord, if you'll vouchsafe me.
Well, nay, that would be a greatest soil in the new gloss of your marriage, as to show a child his new coat and forbid him to wear it. I will only be bold with Benedict for his company, or for the crown of his head to the sole of his foot. He is all mirth. He hath twice or thrice cut Cupid's bowstring, and the little hangman dare not shoot at him. He hath a heart as sound as a bell, and his tongue is the clapper, for what his heart thinks, his tongue speaks.
Gallants, I am not as I have been.
So says I. Methinks you are sadder.
I hope he be in love.
Hang him! Truant, there's no true drop of blood in him. To be truly touched with love, he had best be sad. He wants money.
I have the toothache.
Draw it.
Hang it!
You must hang it first and draw it afterwards.
What? Sigh for the teeth's sake.
Where is but a humor or a worm?
Well, if everyone can manage a grief, but he has it.
Yet, say I, he is in love.
There is no appearance of fancy in him, unless it be a fancy that he hath so strange disguises as to be a Dutchman today, a Frenchman tomorrow, or in the shape of two countries at once, as a German from the waist downward, all slops, and a Spanish from the hip upward, no doublet, unless he have a fancy to this foolery, as it appears he hath. He is no fool for fancy, as you would have it appear he is.
If he be not in love with some woman, there is no believing old signs. Brushes his hat o' mornings, what should that bode?
Hath any man seen him at the barber's?
No, but the barber's man have been seen with him, and the old ornament of his cheek hath already stuffed tennis balls.
Indeed, he looks younger than he did by the loss of a beard.
Nay, he rubs himself with civet. Can you smell him out by that?
That's as much as to say the sweet youth's in love.
The greatest note of it is his melancholy.
And when was he wont to wash his face?
Or to paint himself, for the which I hear that's what they say of him.
Nay, but his jesting spirit, which is now crept into a lute string and now governed by stops.
Indeed, that tells a heavy tale for him. Conclude, he is in love.
Nay, but I know who loves him.
That would I know too, I warrant, one that knows him not.
Yes, and his ill conditions, and in spite of all, dies for him.
She shall be buried with her face upward.
Yet this is no charm for the toothache. Oh, senor, walk beside me. I have studied 8 or 9 wise words to speak to you, and which of these hobby horses must not hear?
For my life to break with him about Beatrice.
'Tis even so. Hero and Margaret have by this played their parts with Beatrice, and then the 2 bears will not bite one another when they meet. My lord and brother, God save you.
Good din, brother.
If your leisure served, I would speak with you.
In private.
If it please you, yet Count Claudio may hear, for what I would speak of concerns him.
What's the matter?
Means your lordship to be married tomorrow?
You know he does.
I know not that, when he knows what I know. If there be any impediment, I pray you discover it. You may think you may think I love you not. Let that appear hereafter, and aim better at me. By that I now will manifest. For, my brother, I think he holds you well, and in dearness of heart hath hoped to effect your ensuing marriage. Surely suit ill spent and labor ill bestowed.
Why, what's the matter?
I came hither to tell you, in circumstances shortened, for she has been too long a talking of. The lady is disloyal.
Who?
Hero?
Ah, even she, Leonato's hero? Your hero? Every man's
Hero disloyal? The word is too good to paint out her wickedness. I could say she were worse. Think you have a worse title, and I will fit her to it. Wonder not till further warrant, but go with me tonight. You shall see her chamber window entered, even the night before her wedding day. If you love her then, tomorrow wed her. But it would better fit your honor to change your mind.
May this be so? Oh, I will not think it.
If you dare not trust that, you see, confess not that you know. If you'll follow me, I will show you enough. And when you have seen more and heard more, proceed accordingly. If I see anything tonight, why I should not marry her tomorrow in the congregation, where I should wed, there will I shame her.
And as I wooed for thee to obtain her, I will join with thee to disgrace her.
And I will disparage her no farther till you are my witnesses. Bear it coldly till midnight, and let the issue show itself.
O day untowardly turned.
O mischief strangely thwarting.
Oh,
Plague right well prevented. So will you say when you've seen the sequel. Scene 3, a street. Enter Dogberry and verges with the watch.
Are you good men and true?
Yeah, or else it were pity that they should suffer salvation, body and soul.
Ah, and that were a punishment too good for them, if they should have any allegiance in them, being chosen for the prince's wife.
Well, give them their charge, neighbor Dogberry.
First, who think you the first desertless man to be constable?
Hugh Otakaki, sir, or George Seacole, for they can read and write.
Come hither, neighbor Seacole. God hath blessed you with a good name to be well-favored man in the gift of fortune. But to write and read comes by nature.
Both which, Master Constable?
Oh, you have. I knew it would be your answer. Oh, well, for your favor, sir. Why, give God thanks and make me no boast of it. And for your writing and reading, let that appear with no need of such vanity. You are thought here to be the most senseless and fit man for the constable of the watch. Therefore bear you the lantern. This is your charge, and you shall be comprehend all vagrom men, and you are bid any man stand in the prince's name.
How if will not stand?
Why then take no note of him, but let him go, and presently call the rest of the watch together, and thank God you are rid of a knave.
Anyway, will not stand when he is bid, and he is none of the prince's subjects.
True. And they are to meddle with none with the prince's subjects. You shall also make no noise in the streets, for to watch the babble and to talk is most tolerable and not to be endured.
Will we rot rather than sleep than talk? We know what belongs to a watch.
Why, then you speak like an ancient and a most quiet watchman, for I cannot see how sleeping would offend. Only have a care that your bills be not stolen. Well, you know to call at the alehouses and bid those that are drunk to get them to bed.
How if they will not?
Why then, let them alone until they are sober, and if they make you not the better answer, you may tell them that they are not the men you took them for.
Well, sir.
Well, if you meet a thief, if you may suspect him by virtue of your office, and to be no true man, and for such kind of men, the less you meddle or make with them, why the more is for your fair honesty.
If we know him to be a thief, shall we not lay hands on him?
On him? Oh, truly by your office you may, but I think they would touch pitch, would they will be defiled. The most peaceable way for you, if you take a thief, is to let him know himself what he is, and steal out of your company.
You've always been a merciful man, partner.
Truly. I would not hang a dog by what my will, much more a man who hath any honesty in him.
Well, if you hear a child cry in the night, you must call to the nurse and bid her still it.
How if the nurse be asleep and will not hear us?
Why then depart in peace, and let the child wake her with the crying. For the ewe that will not hear her lamb is what bays all, and never an answer claff after he bleats.
'Tis very true.
Yes, and this is the end of the charge, you gentlemen counsel, are to present the prince's own person. If you meet the prince in the night, you may stay here.
Nay, by Our Lady, I think that I cannot.
5 shillings to 1 with any man that knows the statutes, he may stay him. Mary, not with the prince, be willing, for indeed the watch ought to offend no man, and that is an offense to stay a man against his will.
Oh, by Our Lady, I think it is be so.
Well, masters, good night, and there be any matter of weight chances, well, call up me and keep your fellow counsels and your own, and good night. Come, neighbor.
Well, masters, we hear our charge. Let us go sit here upon the church bench till 2, and then all to bed.
One more word, please, honest neighbors. I pray you, watch about Senor Leonato's door, for the wedding being there tomorrow. There is a great cold tonight, and do be vigilant, I beseech you. What, Conrad?
Peace, stir not.
Conrad, I say.
Here, man, I am at thy elbow.
Mass and my elbow itch. I thought there would be a stab, fellow.
I owe thee an answer for that. And now, forward to thy tale.
Stand thee close, then, under this penthouse, for it drizzles rain, and I will, like a true drunkard, utter all to thee.
Some treason, masters, yet stand close.
Therefore, know I have earned of Don John 1,000 ducats.
Is it possible that any villainy should be so dear?
Thou shouldst rather ask if it were possible any villainy should be so rich, for when rich villains have need of poor ones may make what price they will.
I wonder at it.
That shows thou art unconfirmed. Thou knowest that the fashion of a doublet, or a hat, or a cloak is nothing to a man.
Yes, it is apparel.
I mean the fashion.
Yes, the fashion is the fashion.
Tush. I may as well say the fool's the fool. And seest thou not, deformed thief, this fashion is?
I know that deformed has been a vile thief this 7 years. Goes up and down like a gentleman. I remember his name.
Didst thou not hear somebody?
No, 'twas the vane on the house.
Seest thou not, I say, what a deformed thief this fashion is? How giddily turns about all the hot bloods between 14 and 5 and 30. Huh? Well, sometimes fashioning them like the Pharaoh's soldiers in the Ricci painting, sometimes like gods, bells, priests, and in an old church window, sometimes by the shaven Hercules in the smirched, worm-eaten tapestry, where his codpiece seems as massy as his club.
All this I see, and I see that the fashion wears out more apparel than the man. But art not thou thyself giddy with the fashion, too? And thou hast shifted out of thy tale into telling me of the fashion?
Not so neither, but know that I have tonight wooed Margaret, the Lady Hero's gentleman, by the name of Hero. She leans me out of her mistress's chamber window and bids me 1,000 times good night. I tell thee this tale vilely. I should first tell thee how the prince, Claudio, and my master, planted and placed and possessed by my master, Don John, saw afar off in the orchard this amiable encounter.
And thought they, Margaret, was Hero?
2 of them did, the prince and Claudio, but the devil my master knew she was Margaret, and partly by his oaths, which first possessed them, partly by the dark night, which did deceive them, and chiefly by my villainy, which did confirm any slander that Don John had made away went Claudio, and he was enraged and swore that he would meet her as he was appointed next morning at the temple. There, before the whole congregation, shame her with what he saw or night, and send her home again without a husband.
We charge you in the prince's name, stand.
Call up the right master constable. We have here recovered the most dangerous piece of lechery that ever was known in the Commonwealth.
And one deformed is one of them. I know him. He wears a lock.
Masters, you'll be made. Bring deformed forth, I warrant you. Masters.
Never speak. We charge you, let us obey you to go with us.
We are like to prove a goodly commodity being taken up by these men's bills.
A commodity in question, I warrant you. Come, we'll obey you.
Scene 4, Hero's apartment. Enter Hero, Margaret, and Ursula.
Good Ursula, wake my cousin Beatrice, and desire her to rise,
I will, lady.
and bid her come hither.
Well, troth, I think your other rabato were better.
No, pray thee, good maid, I'll wear this.
By my troth's not so good, and I warrant your cousin will say so.
My cousin's a fool, and thou art another. I'll wear none but this.
I like the new tie within excellently. If the hair were a thought browner, and your gown's a most rare fashion, I saw the Duchess of Milan's gown that they praise so.
Oh, that exceeds, they say.
By my troth, but's a nightgown in respect of yours, cloth of gold and cuts, and laced with silver, set with pearls, down sleeves, side sleeves, and skirts, round underborn with a bluish tinsel, but for a fine, quaint, graceful, and excellent fashion, yours is worth 10 on it.
God give me joy to wear it, for my heart is exceeding heavy.
It will be heavier soon by the weight of a man.
Fie upon these, art not ashamed?
What lady, speaking honorably, is not marriage honorable to a beggar? Is not your lord honorable without marriage? I think you would have me saying, saving irreverence a husband, and bad thinking do not rest true speaking. I'll offend nobody. Is there any harm in the heavier for a husband? None, I think. And it'd be the right husband and the right wife, otherwise 'tis light and not heavy. Ask my Lady Beatrice else. Here she comes.
Good morrow, coz.
Good morrow, sweet hero.
Why, how now? You speak in the sick tune?
I am all out of other tune, methinks.
Claps into light of love that goes without a burden. You sing it, I'll dance it.
Ye light of love with your heels. Then if your husband have stables enough, you'll see he shall lack no bonds.
Oh, illegitimate construction. I scorn that with my heels.
'Tis almost 5 o'clock, cousin. 'Tis time you were ready. By my troth, I'm exceeding ill. Hey ho!
For a hawk, a horse, or a husband.
Oh, for the letter that begins them all. H.
Well, and you be not turned Turk. Are you supposed to read Margaret? Or are you?
I could read
Yeah,
Margaret.
why don't you read
Okay,
it?
I'll go back to Margaret now. Well, and you be not turned Turk. There's no more sailing by the
I'm
star.
just going to end up reading.
What means the fool, troll?
Nothing I, but God send everyone their heart's desire. These gloves the Count sent me, they are an excellent perfume.
I am stuffed, cousin. I cannot to smell.
A maid and stuffed? There's goodly catching of a cold.
Oh, God help me. God help me. How long have you professed apprehension?
Ever since you left it, doth not my wit become me rarely?
And it is not seen enough. You should wear it in your cap. By my troth, I am sick.
Get you some of this distilled Cardus Benedictus, and lay it to your heart. It is the only thing for a qualm. There thou prickest her with a thistle.
Benedictus. Why Benedictus? You have some moral in this Benedictus?
Moral? No, by my troth, I have no moral meaning. I meant plain woolly thistle. You may think perchance that I think you are in love. Nay, byre lady, I am not such a fool to think what I list, nor I list not to think what I can, nor indeed I cannot think if I would think my heart out of thinking that you are in love, or that you will be in love, or that you can be in love. Yet Benedict was such another, and now he, become a man, he swore he would never marry, and yet, now in despite of his heart, he eats his meat without grudging, and how you may be converted, I know not, but methinks you look with your eyes as other women do.
What pace is this that thy tongue keeps?
Not a false gallop.
Madam, withdraw. The prince, the count, Signor Benedict, Don John, and all the gallants of the town are come to fetch you to church.
Oh, dress me, good cuz, good Meg, good Ursula.
Scene 5, another room in Leonato's house. Enter Leonato with Dogberry and Verges.
What would you with me, honest neighbor?
Marry, sir, I would have some confidence with you that concerns you nearly.
Brief, I pray you, for you see it is a busy time with me.
Nay, this it is, sir.
Yeah, truth it is, sir.
What is it, my good friends?
Good man, Verges. Sir, speak a little off the matter. An old man, sir, and 'tis his wits are not as blunt as, God help, I would desire they were, but in faith, honest is the skin between his brows.
Yes, I thank God I am as honest as any man living. There's an old man is no honester than I.
Comparisons are odorous, palabrous, neighbor Verges.
Neighbors, you are tedious.
It pleases your worship to say so, but we are the poor duke's officers. But truly, with my own part, if I were as tedious as a king, I could find it in my heart to just bestow it all on your worship.
All thy tedious on me?
Yea, and 'twere 1,000 pound more than 'tis, for I hear as good exclamation on your worship as of any man in the city, and though I be a poor man, I'm glad to hear it.
And so am I.
I would fain know what you have to say.
Oh, Mary, sir, no, what's today? Accepting your worship's presence, I've taken a couple of ardent knaves as any of the scene.
Good old man, sir. You would be talking, as they say. And when the age is in, the wit is out. God help us, it is a world to see. Well said, my faith, neighbor Verges. Well, God's a good man, and two men ride of a horse, and one must ride behind. An honest soul in faith, sir, by my royalty is as ever broke bread. But God is to be worshipped. All men are not alike, and alas, good neighbor.
Indeed, neighbor, he comes too short of you.
Gifts that God gives.
I must leave you.
Oh, one word, sir. Our watch, sir, have indeed comprehended two auspicious persons, and we would have them this morning examined before your worship.
Take their examination yourself, and bring it to me. I am now in great haste as it appear unto you.
It shall be suffigance.
Drink some wine ere you go. Fare you well.
My lord, I stay for you to give your daughter to her husband.
I'll wait upon them. I am ready.
Go, good partner. Go get you to Francis Seacole and bid him bring his pen and inkhorn to the jail. We are now to examination those men.
and must do it wisely.
And we will spare for no wit, I warrant you. Ears that shall have some of them to a non-com, and only by the learned writer to set down our excommunication and meet me at the jail.
Act 4, Scene 1, the church. Uncle Don Pedro and John, Leonardo, Clara, Francis, Claudio, Benedictio, Beatrice, and defendant.